I wish to call to order the meeting of the Public Safety Committee for Rutherford County for October. Good to see each and every one of you here this evening. We'll begin with the approval of our minutes, and I'll call on our Vice Chairman, Michael Rather, for those minutes.
Thank you, Chairman. I've reviewed the September minutes, found to be in order, and moved for their approval.
A motion to approve.
Second.
Have a second. Commissioner Serino, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, minutes have been approved. We haven't received any calls for public comments, so we'll move into item 3, Correction and Work Center report from Superintendent William Cope.
Chairman, I'll make a brief comment.
You may make a comment.
At the commission meeting, I did a shout out for 3 detectives, and I misspoke one of their names, which caused a little bit of an issue. Denise Martin's daughter is not Trina Martin, it's Christina Overton. So I just wanted to clarify that. The other one was Mandy McPherson and Joseph Martin Duncan. So I just want to clarify that I misspoke.
Thank you, Commissioner, for making that correction there. Okay, Superintendent Cope.
Good evening. Included in your packet, you'll see the minutes for our October 2nd board meeting. Next will be our work release program, which is going well. Next in there will be our yearly activity report. Our population's rising just a little bit, but that's about normal this time of year. Next page is September 2023 total trash collected on county and state routes are as followed. County roads, county trash collected 12,063 pounds, and then on the state routes we picked up 746 bags. Next is our September 2023 monthly worker report showing a total combined savings of $78,896 using inmate labor. And that is my report, and then I have a rare budget amendment after that, Chairman.
All right, well, first ask if there's any questions on the report. Mr. James.
I'm just curious on about what month of the year and what area of the county seems to be the largest amount of trash on the trash pickup. Like, where do you find the most amount, and what month seems to be the largest quantity?
Not really by month, but I mean, it's about equal, to be honest with you.
Anyone else? I know you're doing a great job out my way, and I'm glad to see the guys out there on the road taking care of these things. Any other questions over here?
Yes, I agree with what you're saying. I did want to commend you and commend Lieutenant Peralta. He always lets me know when they're in the area, and I really appreciate the work. Thank you.
I'll pass that on to him. Thank you.
Anyone else? Not, do we have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
Okay, we've had a motion over here to approve. We'll take this as a second over here. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Report is approved. Your budget amendment dealing with, I think, kitchen equipment?
It is our, we're requesting to move $5,000 from our in-service training, which is line item 196, over to 336. Increase that 336 by $5,000 for preventative maintenance. We have some issues going on in our food service that we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Have the budget before you.
Question. How will that impact the professional development or in-service training that you have planned for this year?
Well, a lot of that goes to travel, and so it's going to be a matter of doing most of ours in-house, which we just went to the Jails Issues Conference 2 weeks ago up in Gatlinburg, and we were given extra extra dates from Tennessee Corrections Institute at our facility, so we'll be able to send most of our people there at our facility for their in-service.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve. Do we have a second? And a second over here. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Motion
you all.
does pass. Thank you, sir. Item 4, Juvenile Detention Reports. And Duke. Evening.
Good evening. Before you, you will have our reports for the month of September. Starting with our yearly activity report. I do have an update on that. Since the report was sent out this morning, we did receive our check from Cheatham County and Chester County, and we have received Grundy County's mail back, saying that the address was wrong, but it's not, so I don't know if they had some mail issues that day. So that one's going to be delayed because it has been returned, but we've reached out to them. So at this time, the bills that we have not received are from Grundy, Madison, and Wilson, but we don't suspect that that's going to be problematic. As you know, it usually takes an extra month for some of these to come in, and it crosses in the mail. Additionally, you have our board meeting minutes for September 11th. And the usual reports after that. The only thing that's caught my eye was that we did test 18 young people in the month of September for STDs, and all of them came back negative, so that was fabulous news. You have our programming and educational information also included. And then I also have a MOU to discuss, or an agreement to discuss. I don't know if you want me to keep going, or if you'd like for me to wait just a second on
Tell
that.
you what, let's get your report area approved, or any questions dealing with the report from Ms. Lynn. Any questions on the report that she has given you? Commissioner Oliver?
Yes. How are you coming along with the open position that you said you had?
We almost were staffed 100%, and then we had a young lady that put in her 2-week notice. So at the time, we had one female detention officer opening, but now I believe we have 2. So we still have a few openings, but we're headed in the right direction. I'm hopeful.
Anyone else, commissioners? Other questions? Or a motion for approval?
I move to approve.
Motion approved, Commissioner Sereno. Second, Commissioner McMurray. All those in favor, say aye. Those opposed, your report has been approved, and I believe you have an agreement on volunteer behavior. Is that the group?
Right, so Volunteer Behavioral Health Care System is an agency here in town that we have been using for a couple of years now. This agreement is for to meet a minimum standard that we're required to provide mental health care for young folks in our facility that either request it, or if we believe they have a need, or if someone contacts us, whether it's a caseworker or a family member, and asks that they be able to participate in these type meetings. So we have used this company before. This is just basically updating the agreement. There was some very there were some changes to the way that the MOU is set up. The county attorney and Volunteer Behavioral Health Systems attorney went back and forth. They have both agreed on the agreement that you are looking at. The discussion mostly concerned liability for the parties. They got that wording like they were wanting it, both sides. And so I'll answer any other questions that you have, but this is something that we're required to do. We have already got money in our budget set aside for it. It's already approved, and the county attorneys have looked at it, and they're happy with the way this reads.
Questions?
I have one. The term of this agreement is 1 year or 2, 3?
I think that we can do it in whichever form you're most comfortable with. We did leave that open. We had been doing yearly agreements, but it's a 30-day out clause. There's nothing that I don't think that's terribly technical as far as that's concerned. So the term is up for debate.
But in the past, we've done 1 year.
Yes.
So this would be from the date of execution for a year, or we can decide on 2, 3, and
I wouldn't. I don't personally feel comfortable going more than maybe 2 or 3, but
Right.
I think it would be okay.
So how long have we been using this? How many years?
More than 5.
And have those 5 been year to year?
Yeah. Yes, they have.
It's worked out well?
Yes.
All right. I'll let others make comments.
Other questions?
Mr. Chairman, why are you not comfortable with extending more than 2 or 3? If you could expand on that.
Honestly, I'm at my 30-year mark for retirement, and I may not be here in 2 or 3 years, so I don't want to make promises that somebody else might not feel comfortable with.
Anyone else?
Yes, so is it up to this body to make the recommendation for the time of the contract? Yes.
You can,
Okay.
yes.
I will move that we accept the contract with the term being 1 year from the date of execution.
Motion been made for a period of 1 year.
Second.
Second, further discussion. There's none. I'm going to ask for a call of roll.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver,
Aye.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Motion does pass, and thank you for your report. Emergency Services, Public Safety Report, and Radio System Report. Director Chris Clark. Covers about everything there, it looks like.
Chairman, committee, hopefully in front of you is our monthly report for September 19th to October the 18th. A couple of highlighted items is our dispatch receiving over 5,000 calls in our dispatch center. Another, our radio information is scattered throughout the report as well. So I'll entertain any questions upon that radio system as well. And there's a couple of things that I'd like to add. One is that on November the 1st, we're hoping to have an exercise at our new public safety center in Kittrell. This Fight the Flu exercise is free flu shots that will be, we'll run them through that station. And so we'll have a better understanding of how the flow will go. We've requested resources, some officers from the Sheriff's Department, some fire department, and also EMS personnel to assist in this effort. This will be put on through with the State Department of Health and our local health department as well. So I think it'll be a really good thing. Also, a volunteer tidbit. We are having meetings with Box 100 for our rehab services in our county, and we actually had to activate 3 rehab units Saturday night. Please keep the officers in Laverne in your prayers as they recover and we move forward. We also have established a long-term recovery group that is a result of our tornado in April the 1st. This is a faith-based recovery group that focuses on individuals that need assistance within Rutherford County. We hope that we'll never have to use them again, but I'm sure we will. So they will determine the processes of the long-term recovery as they move forward through any of the disasters. And then last but not least, we're working on a program called Safe Places. You may see this on News Channel 5. Heather Mathis, the meteorologist, has worked with state lawmakers to pass a law that states that any organization that opens up their doors to assist during a severe weather outbreak will not be held liable for death or injury during that event. What will take place is if that organization would like to participate, they can contact our local EMA office or they can contact News Channel 5. And once they do that, if they contact News Channel 5, it will come to our local emergency management office. We will go to that organization, kind of scout out their structure, see where the safest place may be within that structure. We will add that to News Channel 5's website, which will scroll across the bottom of the screens of what shelters will be in place during that severe weather event. If they choose not to open during that day or did not have volunteers to open the doors, then it would not be listed as open. So we're looking forward to partnering with News Channel 5, and hopefully this program will get some publicity. And I encourage and hope that our commissioners, if you talk to any of these especially these churches that are willing to open up their doors, have them contact my office, and we can guide them through the process. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Any questions, comments?
I have a quick question. In regards to the safe places that you mentioned, I know News Channel 5 is going to do it. Are they going to try to coordinate with Channel 4, Channel 2, and 17 because there's other viewers within that?
At this time, we're trying to get this kicked off, and I'm sure that information will be shared across the news channels. It's our hopes that those networks will get with News Channel 5 and Heather Mathis and get that rolling. I can't answer that question. It was a program through News Channel 5.
Anyone else?
Move to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
Commissioner James. Have a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, it is approved. Thank you, sir. Item 6, Emergency Medical Services Report, Director Brian Gaither. Has a report with a budget amendment, I believe.
For the month of September, we did 3,492 calls, a response time of 6 minutes and 57 seconds. 147 DOAs for the month, 30 of those were sent for autopsies. We collected $1,198,781. And then the bottom is the maintenance costs and the mileage driven for the month, some classes and in-services, and some community relation events. The convalescent division did 430 calls for the month. Collections were $103,682. Then the next pages are some of those. We're still trying to work with them a little bit, but a little better breakdown of the call volume by shifts, the volume and zip codes. Then that unit utilization that's, I don't know, a few pages in, that's how much time is spent on each call. So you take that call volume for that unit and multiply it by that time, so. And then there's a couple of thank you notes. One that I would like to call attention to is the first one that's written on the bill. We had a call out in Eagleville, Russell Gerbman and Travis Rollball. Family wanted to have them out. They recognized them at a city council meeting, them and the Eagleville Fire Department, so pretty nice gesture. And then that's my report.
Commissioners, I hope you've had time to look at this report, especially where some of these calls are and the location and the number of calls for different areas and different units. If you look at some of these zip codes and where we are going and the distance that we are going with some of these and the numbers in particular areas, I think it's quite interesting, and you need to look at those in comparison to districts that we have around here. And I think you'll see where some of this is going. I know at night when I come in from Murfreesboro, whatever, I go by the Rockville station. That ambulance, I always look because I know I'm getting ready to go in and shut the door, and I always like to look to make sure I still got an ambulance close by. It's never there. It's always out and running somewhere. And I think that's the way most of them are, aren't they?
Yes, sir.
Director? They don't sit there and stay there long. None of them do. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner.
I was looking at your report, Director. I was looking at your DOAs, and it just kind of jumped out at me. Is 147 for the month of September? That's what you're saying there?
147, yes, ma'am.
And then it was, in that number 70, is that September last year? It was only 70? Is that the comparison?
Yes, ma'am.
Any idea because that 70 is really what kind of sticks out, because 147 is kind of consistent with the 138, but that 70 just kind of sticks out to me. Any reason,
I would have to
or
go back
did you
and
guys
look.
look at that data to kind of figure out
And
the significant
Denise
difference?
looks at it. She looks at it very, very closely. I'd have to go back to look. I would almost guarantee that 70 number is accurate, and it was probably just a good month.
It was a good month to be alive. I'd say we'll probably be seeing more of the higher numbers than the lower numbers in the future as our population continues to
Population
increase.
increases, it's going to continue to go up.
Other questions?
Motion to approve?
Have a motion to approve, Commissioner Olive. And a second. Here, Commissioner Rather. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The report has been approved. You have a budget amendment, I believe?
Yeah, so this budget amendment is dealing with all donations. The guy that's kind of over our public relations, a lot of times he'll go out and teach CPR classes, and the charges for those classes are donations made to the ambulance service. So it was $350 for this year, and then we had $4,961 that was left over from last year that we're wanting to add into $499 for a total of $5,311. So that $4,961 was unspent dollars in that line item from last year.
Any questions?
Question. You said that you want to utilize these funds for EMS Week.
Yes, ma'am.
What does that look like?
So that EMS Week is a week in May, and it's usually towards the end of May that we recognize all the EMS providers within our service. So these donations go to buy some kind of small gift for our token of appreciation.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve and have a second. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Cerino,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver,
Aye.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
One other thing I'd like to bring to your attention. I know we've had a lot of discussion on forensic center and autopsies and all that stuff, but a county employee passed away on August the 1st. There was a lot of financial struggles there, and they were waiting on the autopsy report to be updated. That was finally updated on the 18th of this month. So that family could not get that life insurance policy released until the doctor found time to sign off on the death certificate. So just one of those things that if it was here, especially this one, and I mean, that probably happens multiple times, but this was with a county employee. So something I just wanted to bring to your attention. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, in presenting that information to us. And Commissioner Oliver, I want to thank you for making that catch on that number there on the DOAs, because that is unusual when you look at that larger number compared to that smaller number. And I just happen to think back to, we had smaller numbers, I think, at some other times, but they're starting to catch back up. We're starting to see this again. So appreciate you bringing that forward. Moving now into Fire and Rescue Report, Captain Larry Farley. I said, it's that Captain. Well, I demoted you tonight, so.
Demoted me.
Okay, Chief. You got to work tonight.
I apologize. I failed to mention last month, we took over the VA hospital the 1st of October. They had a long-standing contract with the city of Murfreesboro for millions of dollars, and when they started that contract years ago, the county fire department was still a lot of volunteers. And they realize now that we've grown and we've got a station within 3.5 miles of the VA hospital, so they contacted me and requested that we start providing coverage for them. Once that happened, then they terminated their contract with the city of Murfreesboro. And I think the city was collecting $1.3 million from them a year. And their property is in the county, so it's in our jurisdiction. And they called me and said, we expect y'all to cover since we are in the county, surrounded by the county, in the county jurisdiction. So I meant to mention that last month, but we got talking about something else and it slipped my mind, so I apologize for that. So for the month of September, we had 663 calls, 1 structure fire, 353 medical calls, 42 MVAs with injuries and 61 without. Year to date, we've had 61 structure fires, 48 vehicle fires. We've ran 2,891 medical calls, 280 MVAs with injuries, 380 motor vehicle accidents without, and we've had 25 extrications. That's where we actually cut the vehicle away from the person and get the patient out. For a total year-to-date, 5,639 calls. Rockville Station has ran 84 calls for the month of September. This is just for 30 days, or 31 days, or 30 days, I should say. 1 structure fire, and then they ran 40 medical calls for a total of 84 calls for this month of September. Kittrell, we had one structure fire out there. We had 3 vehicle fires. We ran 69 medical calls for a total of 125 calls for the Kittrell station. And Kittrell is there's a lot of, we have quite a few structure fires out in that area. Year total to date, we've had 72 structure fires, 111 brush fires, 64 illegal burns, 76 vehicle fires. We've had 1,057 motor vehicle accidents. 25 of those were extrications, for a total of 6,864 calls year to date. That's to the end of September. Next page is what we provide to the codes department for structures that are damaged this month. We had 9 fire alarm installations. And the next page is the fire marshal's fire investigation report. Last page is the documentation of illegal burns that we responded to and how we handled that. Completes my report. Anybody has any questions?
Questions?
I have one. Is our county under a burn ban?
No, sir. We lifted the burn ban, but as of October 15th, you're required to go to the Tennessee State Forestry. It's burntn.org, and you can apply for one online, or you can call Monday through Friday, the number listed on that website, and get a burn permit.
Well, I know I listen to weather all the time. They're talking about drought because no rain in the future. Grass is dying. I just want to know, does this county at this point have a countywide burn ban?
No, sir, but what we have done in the past, and I caught a lot of aggravation, you might say, from Tennessee State Forestry, when the county voted to give us the authority to create a ban if we needed to. Tennessee State Forestry said, called me and said, you can't do that. That's under us. And I said, but your county has to pass a resolution. And I said, we did. I said, the county commission passed a resolution that give us authority to create a burn ban if conditions got dry enough. Because the problem I have with Tennessee State Forestry, they'll hand out permits and people start fires and they get out of control, but they don't have to respond to them. And I got really aggravated at them one month, and I said, we've ran 500 brush fires and y'all are still issuing permits. I said, so I really don't care what your thoughts are. The commission backs me on this, and when we create a burn ban, we're going to ban it. So they can call, get a permit if they want to, but if we get called, we're going to put it out.
Doesn't mean that people still need to be taking some responsibility in what they do. We still have to do that. And you may have seen, was it this weekend or just a few days ago, was it Lawrence County that had the cornfield to catch on fire, and then they had, 100 acres in that situation. That was basically, I would say, caused by a hitter on a corn picker that hit a rock and got a spark in there. A cornfield with a little bit of wind, it'll go. In fact, that one right there, they showed pictures of it. It had a fire tornado in it. It had such a impact within it. So that can happen any fall when we get dry weather to do harvest and things of that type. So we still have those capabilities, but that's why we, I think as a commission, gave the authority to our chief that can call that anytime they see necessary to do. But it is still dry out there.
It's very dry. I think it was about 2 weeks ago on Veterans Parkway, we had a cornfield. The guy was cutting the corn kind of high to keep from, he's leaving the stalks high to keep from hitting a rock and starting a fire. And we had a little fire out there that caught on fire. And then while we was out there putting that out, his $2 million combine, brand new combine, caught on fire. So we was there to put that out. He said, well, thank goodness I got insurance. So, I mean, it was a brand new, shiny green John Deere combine. So it's it's very dry.
Other questions?
Thank you.
Do we have a motion to approve this report?
So moved.
I've already demoted him, so we better make him approve the report.
Second.
We have a motion and a second over here. All those in favor say aye. It does pass. Thank you, Chief.
Mr. Chairman, before you leave, Chief, a couple of things. Do we still have like a fire prevention week or a fire prevention month in
Yes, sir.
Rutherford
We had
County?
last Saturday, we combined with Murfreesboro Fire Department and had a fire prevention day over at the Doug Young Training Facility. They had live flight land out there, and the sheriff's office was there with a booth, and Murfreesboro had a booth. We had a booth giving away, free, fire helmets and fire prevention things. We had Middle Tennessee Electric there that did a real big demonstration on the power of electricity and what happens if you come in contact with those power lines, which is always, I enjoy it every year watching that. And then we have a competition between Murfreesboro Fire Department and us on extrication. We see who can cut up a car faster. And so we had pretty good attendance.
Very good. And are we advertising the smoke alarm?
They're on RCTVs, but as far as that gets out, of course, we have it on our website and we put it out on Facebook. So, I mean, I have a lot to give, and we want to make sure that everybody has a fire detector in their home.
Wonderful program. I'm just disappointed that more people don't take advantage of that.
Well, it's free, and we get them through the state because they have a big grant, and they have a 10-year battery in them, and that way they need to be changed every 10 years. So, if you know anybody that needs a smoke alarm, we're more than happy to install it. I know Murfreesboro does. I'm sure Smyrna Laverne does the same thing.
One other thing, Mr. Chairman, if I might have a little leeway. Back during our budget process last year, when we were talking about property tax increases, there were, in the budget committee, by budget committee members, there were two alternative to property taxes that were brought up and suggested. One of them was a fire tax. It was way too late in the process for us as a county to consider that during that budget process. What we talked about, or what was discussed, was the possibility of examining what something like that would look like before we got into this next year's budget process. And I would ask for you, if you could, to check around the state, see what counties may have type of fire tax in unincorporated areas, and be a part of that discussion as we put it on the agenda for the next couple of months. Let me be perfectly clear about this. This commissioner would not support that type of a tax, probably under any circumstances. It's a service that I think our citizens deserve, but it was brought up, and we were asked to take a look at that, and I think it's our responsibility, this committee's that process of taking a look at it. I also know that you would not support that type of a tax, and that's not what we're asking for. We're asking for what would it look like if Rutherford County had something like that. So if you could begin that process to take a look at it so that this committee could at least be aware of that as we get into the budget process next spring.
Back when that was brought up under Mayor Ernest Burgess, we had a thing figured up, and I think of course, at that time, a starter home was $150,000, which we know now it's probably $275,000. But I think at that time it was like $150 per year tax on that structure, $250,000. But of course, all the home values have changed, so it would be a whole lot higher now. But I do know I was supposed to meet with Hamilton County today, Chattanooga. They are interested in starting a county fire department. I've been contacted by. They come talk to me and ask me how we started this, what process went through, the procedure. They're having a problem across the whole state getting volunteer firemen. So I met with Sevier County, I met with Franklin County, I met with Monroe County, and I met with Lincoln County. and Lawrence County. And I've had the mayors and the commissioners come and meet with me and talk about the process we went through and what we did. So there's a big push across state to start county fire service because they can't get no volunteers.
Once again, Rutherford County's on the cutting edge, and we are to take a pat on the back and you are to be commended for what we've gone through over the last 15 to 18 years. Thank you. But if you would, take a look at what other counties, the unincorporated areas, may have something similar to a fire tax, and we can begin.
I'm thinking Shelby County, the Memphis area has a county fire service, and in Shelbyville County, or Shelby County, has a I had a class with a guy that works for Shelby County, and I think they have a fire tax, so I'll reach out to them, and I'll try to find out if anybody else in the state has one. I'll reach out and see if I can get some information, numbers on that.
I would appreciate you doing that, and Mr. Chairman, with your approval, we'll put it on the agenda for next month just to bring the committee up to date as to what you find.
Okay.
Thank you.
We'll do that. Commissioner Radner?
I know former Commissioner Gurley every month brought up the fire tax, so that's wonderful. I probably wouldn't vote for it, but at least we can look at it. So I agree with everything you said. My question is, who won the extrication between Murfreesboro and Rutherford County?
Well, last year we won it, and I feel like this year we won it, but our guys got a little preoccupied and didn't say we're done, and Murfreesboro hollered out we're done before we did, and so they won this year. But our guys got kind of got through and quit, and they should have hollered, hey, we're finished. But so it kind of bit them on that one.
Counts as a loss this year.
So it's good to go back and forth.
Yeah.
It's good to know that you're well protected if you're in the city or in the county, either one.
That happened in Tuscaloosa this weekend, didn't it? Okay, moving now into the Sheriff's Report. Chief Spence. I did get you right.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good evening. Our population this afternoon was 794. From July 1st, 2017 through the present, we have been awarded $10,290,508 in grants. Just wanted to share that with y'all. Our openings in our divisions, communications has 6 openings. SROs has 10, but all schools are still covered. Detention has 38 openings. Patrol has 25, and we have 5 applicants in patrol in the background stage. That's my report.
Commissioners, you've got the report there, and I suggest that you do take a look at that. There's one particular sheet in there that if you didn't take a really good, I wish you would look at it. It deals with the Rutherford County Adult Detention Center. A lot of good statistics there if you want to see what our detention center has in it. It deals with the average age, who's in there, and gives you some idea. We're now, say, 816 is what we're looking at today?
Today at 1 o'clock, it was 794 this afternoon.
Okay. So it varies back and forth there. We're pushing close to that 800 mark, and so that's pushing those numbers that we have there. But take a look at those in there, because this is some information we are needing, so to be aware of and stay up to it. Any questions on his report or anything within the report that you have on your iPad?
Yes, sir. I did have a question along the same lines, because I was looking at the numbers here versus what you reported verbally. Does that mean you had inmates released today? Because that's a big difference in what you just told us and the 816 that we're seeing here.
Yes, ma'am. This morning was 798, and then we went up to 816 at 1 o'clock count, and then courts released the ones that's been released.
Gotcha. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate these reports because it does give you a good insight into what's happening here. Other questions or motion?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve, Commissioner Rather. Second? Commissioner McMurray. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, the report has been approved, and I think you have about 4 amendments.
Yes, sir. The first amendment is from the drug fund. This amendment is to move money from the restricted for public safety to law enforcement equipment, motor vehicles, and maintenance and repair of the building, asking to take $500,000 for restricted from public safety, $105,000 place it into building repairs, $23,250 into animal food and supplies, $81,750 in the law enforcement supplies, and $290,000 in the motor vehicle line item.
Have a request.
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Sereno, please call the roll.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver,
Aye.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next amendment, please.
This amendment is to recognize revenue and expenses for the financial year 23 Bureau of Justice Assistance Virtual Reality De-Escalation Site-Based Initiative Grant. A no-match award is a 3-year federal award of $685,731 with a period of performance October the 1st of 23 through September the 30th of 26. This award will fund a full-time certified sergeant, a training simulator, training for staff, and a contract with MTSU as a research partner for the virtual reality training development, data collection, and project evaluation. This amendment is for the first financial year of the award.
Questions or a motion?
Question.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner?
You said 600 and how much?
$685,731 is the total award.
So I'm lost. I'm looking at the wrong thing then, because I'm trying to figure out where you're. I see 718,524. Okay. I see, I just don't see those numbers. I'm just looking, hold on just a second, that's all. Okay, I see it down in the narrative.
Yes, ma'am.
I was looking at the numbers in the way it was allocated, and I didn't see that total. I got you now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
Go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve. Second. Commissioner McMurray. Further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Rather,
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver,
Aye.
Commissioner Beverly,
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray,
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno,
Yes.
Commissioner James,
Yes.
Chairman Reed.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Next amendment.
This amendment is to recognize revenue and expenses for the financial year 23 Bureau of Justice Assistance Comprehensive Opioid Stimulant and Substance Use Site-Based Program Grant. A no-match award is a 3-year federal award of $718,524 with a period of performance October 1st, 23 through September 30th of 26. This award will fund 2 full-time peer support specialists, a contract with Transportation Agency, BGA required conference costs, office supplies, laptops, and printer for new staff. This amendment is for the first financial year of the award.
Seen and heard the request. Motion approved. Commissioner
Second.
Oliver, second. Commissioner Rather, further discussion? Please call the roll.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Commissioner Beverly? Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
We have one more.
It's the last one. The amendment is to recognize revenue and expenses for the financial year 23 of the Bureau of Justice Assistance Connect and Protect Law Enforcement Behavioral Health Response Program grant. The 20% match award in year 1 and 2, and then a 40% match in year 3. The grant is a 3-year project for $515,045 with a federal award of $372,659 match, $142,386 with the period of performance October the 1st, 23 through September the 30th of 26. The award will fund Sheriff's Office purchase of uniforms, vests, and radios for the volunteer behavioral health 2 personnel, and a sub-award contract with volunteer behavioral health services for 2 co-responders, equipment, supplies, travel, training, and funds for our clients' transportation. This amendment is for the first financial year of the award.
Questions or a motion?
I do have a question because this is a question I've had previously. Please explain to me the match process. When it says 20% match, year 1 and 2, 40% year 3, can you explain what that means?
Yes, ma'am. That's escalating match. Year 3 is that it goes up higher. In the first 2 years is 20%. The county had to match 20% of that match.
Okay, so we match at that level.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a grant that you've had before?
No, ma'am, this is a new grant. This is contracting through behavioral health to have these co-responders to ride with our patrol officers and de-escalate citizens in crisis. It's a quicker response than us waiting hours for somebody to come to help us on the scene.
Okay, and so a follow-up question is it budgeted where we have a certain amount of funds that are laid aside for matching grants?
The $25,617 would come from unassigned fund balance.
From unassigned fund balance. Got you. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Question. Is it something similar to what the Murfreesboro Police Department, they have those mental health individuals riding with some of their officers? I know they have 1 or 2 of them, so is it
Yes,
something
sir.
similar?
And their program's been very successful, and ours will be too.
Okay, because I personally, I was able to speak with one of those individuals at the Journey Home a few weeks ago, and it does look like it's a very positive program, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
Motion approved. Commissioner Rather.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Sereno. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Beverly?
Yes.
Commissioner McMurray?
Yes.
Commissioner Sereno?
Yes.
Commissioner James?
Yes.
Commissioner Rather?
Yes.
Commissioner Oliver?
Aye.
Chairman Reed?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I was asked about to say, if you don't mind, a quick prayer for the city of Laverne and our officers by the Sheriff's Department. So is it appropriate time to say a quick prayer?
This would be a good time if you'd
All
like to. That's the chaplain for the commission to make this prayer.
We all stand.
I'd like everyone to stand.
Let us pray. Dear God, it is you that has power over the world and the people. I ask at this time that you be with the city of Laverne and the county of Rutherford County. Be with those officers that serve and protect us every single day. Not just for the city of Laverne, but all municipalities within Rutherford County. They truly are the first on the line. Be with their families and be with them as they heal at this time. I ask for a special prayer for Officer Ashley Bolajak and Officer Gregory Kern of the Laverne Police Department. be with their families during this time. And we also, Lord, want to thank you for all surrounding agencies that coordinated efforts to work alongside our Sheriff's Department, Smyrna, Mount Juliet, and those who all assisted. The Bible says that no weapon formed against us shall prosper, and we hold that to be true to today. So please grant them with your almighty protection, strong spirit, and loyalty to their fellow officers who serve, and all public safety officials as well. It's in your name that we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain. And there's,
Comment.
yes.
I want to thank you for that prayer. I actually had it under other business and I was going to ask, so I appreciate that.
Thank you. And there's never a wrong time for prayer, especially for our first responders, any of them. Thank you, sir. All right, PAWS, we ask that you'll come forward. Director Michael Gregory.
So for the month of September, we had 339 animals come into the shelter. You can see we had a live release rate of 92.6% for dogs, 95.9% for cats, and overall 93.2% when wildlife were included. All officers completed out 1,179 calls for the month, traveling 8,218 miles. Fiscal year to date, we've had 1,238 animals into the shelter, 91.2% live release rate, 3,853 calls completed, and traveling just shy of 27,000 miles since July 1. For our rabies exposure and bite report, we had 41 bites reported for the month. None of those were sent for testing. We had 4 other exposures. None of those were sent for testing as well. And then the last page of the report is just the graph that I give you also visually. You can see the live release versus euthanasia rate. That's my report, sir.
Thank you. Any questions on the report from PAWS?
Move to approve.
Motion to approve. And second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? The report has been approved, sir.
Well, have a good evening.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Sorry. No, you're good. I'm sorry. I'm just breaking protocol tonight, this evening. But I have to step away. But before I do, before I walk out, I know at the end we usually do shout-outs. So I want to give a quick shout-out to Commissioner Hope Oliver, who has been named the 2023 NAACP Woman of the Year. So, again, I know that's usually at the end, but I have to step out. So I just wanted to congratulate that on that recognition, and I think she'll be recognized this Saturday evening in Smyrna. So.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Congratulations to you, Commissioner. All right, recovery, OSHA. Mr. Ed Elam. Good to see you.
You, Commissioners, good evening. For the OSHA report, month of September 2023, total incidents 27. For the calendar year, 177. Total recordables 122. Lost day claims 27. Restricted day claims 72. Other recordables 24. On the job injury claims 2023, you have 176 compared to 132 2022 and 130 2021. On the job injury incurred dollars 2023, you have 553,000 2022, 478,000 2021, 467,000. And for your injuries, Board of Education had 20, County General had 6. In the County General, the Sheriff's Department had 2, EMS had 1, Correctional Work Center had 1, PAWS had 1, Solid Waste had 1, for a total of 6. And that concludes my report, Mr. Chairman.
Any questions?
Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Commissioner Beverly. Second. Commissioner Radner. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, your report has been approved.
I did have a comment. He just made his motion so quickly. I was
Quick, you're
noticing.
getting this auction.
I know. I was noticing the uptick of the on-the-job injuries, and we still have a few more months left in the year. Any idea about that?
Well, in the 2023, the 2021 and 2022 are like COVID years, and so you would have a lower amount of claims for that. I know in 2019, I think it was like 200. So depends on which year you look at. 2019 was more of a year that was more comparable to this year.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good night.
All right, Recovery Court report. Dale Ricks.
Good afternoon. The Recovery Court report for September. In our drug court, we currently have 50 participants. 20 have completed the application process and are pending their court dates to enter the program. And we have 21 people who are waiting with an application. In mental health court, we have 51 current participants. 17 have completed the application process and are waiting to enter the program. And 26 people who have an application in process. For our DUI court, we have 70 participants, 29 in our day program and 41 in our evening program. 7 have completed the application process and are pending entering the program, and 7 are in our application process. Veterans Court, we have 15 current participants. 2 have completed the application process and are waiting to enter the program, and 7 are in our application process, for a total of 186 current participants. 48 have completed the application process and are waiting to enter our program, and 61 are somewhere in our application process. We had 6 graduations and 2 terminations, and that is the end of our report.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Give me the total number for all the programs of those that are waiting to get in,
Waiting to,
even though they're in whatever various process they're in, just the total number.
I'm not real good at math, but I think this is 107.
And when this space becomes available, how much should that drop down as far as waiting to enter into the program, your estimate?
At least by half, I would think we could get.
Questions or a motion?
Move to approve.
Move to approve. Commissioner James.
Second.
Second. Commissioner Sereno. Further discussion or questions? All those.
I have one comment. Slow down. You talk a whole lot faster than I listen. Just kind of calm down a little bit.
Will do.
I had a question about the criterion to be a part of this program. Speak to that.
It would depend on which program, but the basic criteria is that they have to have a current pending active case, nonviolent, and they have to voluntarily agree with it, and they need to live within Rutherford or Cannon County.
All right, we've had a motion, we've had a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, your report has been approved. Thank you. Probation report. Lisa Phillips, okay, you have a report plus announcement about a food drive.
Sure, yes, I did attach that, and I'll cover that. So good evening. For the month of September, we closed out 129 cases, which is equivalent to 114 people for the month. We had 1,176 active reporting cases. In regards to our groups, we had 84 individuals in our groups for the month of September. We had 22 individuals successfully complete their program. We had 7 individuals unsuccessfully be discharged from their program. In regards to the Olive Branch, we were able to assist 10 individuals, all of which were experiencing homelessness. In our 10 Rocks program that Judge Bennett oversees, we have 28 active participants in that program. We have 4 individuals who have applied and are waiting for their court dates. We did have 4 individuals successfully complete and graduate the program this past month, and we also, in addition, had 2 unsuccessfully discharged from the program. With our revenue versus our expenditures, that was a difference of $160,232.89 for the month. So far, for the month of September, we turned over $13,721 to the clerk's office to collect on probation fees and their payment agreements. And in the month of September, there was $7,452 owed in probation fees, and those individuals did not enter a payment agreement with the clerk's office. So far this fiscal year, we've turned over $52,711 to the clerk's office to collect probation fees on a payment agreement. And so far this fiscal year, $16,167.95 totals of probation fees of those individuals that had not entered a payment agreement with the clerk's office. And we've also got 10 individuals that have been deemed indigent by the court. The second page, and what Chairman was speaking of, is our October fall food drive. I did mention that last month, and that did go out to all users, but we did list some items of need. We would love for you guys to stop by and see our office. We have some drop boxes at our entrance for those items to be dropped off. So we love help for that program because we take great pride in that program, and people do have the ability to take advantage of it for the time being. So that would be my report.
Thank you. Questions, comments? Yes, sir.
So this food drive, you said we got that?
It went out through social media from Miss Lisa Kay to all users. I would assume y'all are part of the all users.
I'm not on social media.
No, email and social media.
Oh, email. Okay, sorry. Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Or motion?
So move.
Got a motion to approve. Would you like yours to be the second? Okay, sir. We'll let yours be the second. Further discussion? Questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Report is approved. Thank you. All right, we're down to other business right now. Anybody have anything else needs to come before this committee?
Mr. Chairman, just a brief discussion on meeting dates. I believe our November meeting is going to be on the 27th, if I'm not mistaken.
We're checking.
November meeting should be the 27th, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's after Thanksgiving.
That's the Monday after Thanksgiving. And
After Thanksgiving.
December meeting has been moved up a week to the 18th.
Because we usually get together and talk about this in January. Yeah. So. Before I do the legal notice. Yeah, we usually do that. I thought we'd already done it. All right, anything else need to come before this group?
Yes, I had a comment. Just to follow up on Commissioner McMurray, I do want to say that we are appreciative in Laverne for the swift responses of our entire Rutherford County and surrounding counties that assisted with the emergency that was at the Dollar General in Lake Forest and Laverne. We are happy that our officers were not killed, but again, I can see the store. And I don't know if you all saw the news last night, my husband was interviewed because he was approaching the store as everything broke out. But to be able to see in operation the different emergency management services and first responders just working together just as a well-oiled engine was just a sight. And I'm really appreciative of our first responders and our EMS professionals.
Thank you, Commissioner. Do appreciate that. Anyone else?
I had a shout out. Just wanted to invite everybody to come to the Blackman High School. They're having their ROTC. Their Raiders are competing in awards at the end of the day. So it's going to be about 7:30 in the morning this Saturday. Love to see as many people come and attend and see our cadets, future military service people, run through the games.
Okay. Right. If there is nothing else, then we are adjourned.